In February, Amazon announced that they're bringing Seasons to New World with the promise of large quarterly content drops. The first, Fellowship and Fire, introduces a new free and premium season pass, which provides rewards such as armor, weapons, skins, and materials, as well as a new narrative, quests, an expedition, and more. On the surface, this is exciting news. What player wouldn't want new storylines, new quests, new ways to progress? Well, there's a few reasons to not be so optimistic about Seasons and really about the future of New World as a whole. So let's get into them.
And I just want to call out as super important is this like regular cadence that Seasons is going to come out. You know, we're going to try to do this every quarter and like make sure there's an appointment or reason to come back.
The idea of regular updates coming to an MMO is not something new. It's a fundamental part of the genre. It's something that players should expect as a baseline for their game, not a cool new concept being introduced. It's also something that every MMO, including New World, already does. Players come back for updates. Packaging it together and calling it a part of a season is just trying to buy hype. And for Amazon specifically, I'm not sure why they would publicly commit to a quarterly timeline when they've already shown they can't meet deadlines, made evident with the release date for the very first season. I'm not sure players realize just how big of a mistake this is. The release of the first season is something that Amazon completely controls. There's no external pressure on this date, and they couldn't even meet that. And if you've been following Amazon games at all, you'll know that this is par of the course for them, as delays have plagued New World. And while I do believe that delaying something until it's ready is typically the better route, the fact that they couldn't meet a deadline that they created and that they completely control is a huge fail and a big red flag for seasons to come. As a box fee game with no monthly subscription, Amazon needs to make money somehow. And selling cosmetics is a regular thing in MMOs, but the way seasons have been introduced just feels like a half-baked idea that they threw together to spark fake hype and make as much money as they could. Let's start with their seasons lead. Certainly an important position tasked with leading these exciting new quarterly updates for New World. One might assume that Amazon brought in an industry expert with years of experience leading MMOs and seasonal content. And while not quite a direct comparison, World of Warcraft, for example, brought in Holly Longdale to lead WoW Classic, including its seasonal servers, who has worked in the MMO industry for over 20 years and has helped keep EverQuest alive by transitioning it to a progressional server style. Well, for Amazon Games, they appointed Patrick Smedley, who, while not confirmed, by all accounts looks to be the son of former Amazon Games general manager and MMO legend John Smedley, who as recently as February had the different title of AI designer. Now, not to get too personal, but Patrick's path to seasons lead is a questionable one that is not filled with more than 20 years of experience. On the surface, it kind of looks like a classic case of a father hiring his son for a position at his company that he likely isn't qualified for. And honestly, after looking into it, that's exactly correct. Patrick graduated from TCU with a BS degree in political science, yet started his career as a quality assurance analyst with Daybreak Games, where his father, John, was CEO. Following his time at Daybreak Games, Patrick took his talents to Pixel Mage Games, which was created by John after he stepped down from Daybreak Games. And in 2017, Pixel Mage Games shut down, and John, along with most of the team, was immediately picked up by Amazon Games. And Patrick, coincidentally, joins the Amazon team in September of 2017. Now, Patrick might do his job exceptionally well. I'm sure he's a great person, and I'm really not trying to get too personal here. But from the outside, you can't deny that this looks like somebody whose father has really carried him throughout his entire career, which really isn't even that big of a deal by itself, but when you combine it with the fact that he has no experience leading MMOs or seasonal content, and now he's thrown into this big impactful role in which the competition is hiring people more like his father, it does not make me excited for what's to come with New World Seasons. Also, if history repeats itself, which it often does, it seems likely that Patrick's time at Amazon might be limited because his father is already off starting something new. But that's perfectly fine with Amazon because...
Oh my god, where is everybody? Damn, that's sad. Like, yeah, obviously, like, the game was, like, dying, but, like, this is just... Man.
I hate when people claim a game is dead because it doesn't have 100,000 people playing all the time. And I don't think New World is dead from a player perspective. In fact, I think Seasons will help its player count and bring in money for Amazon games. But the pursuit of cashing in on temporary seasonal hype means nothing more than the end is coming for New World. And Amazon Games knows this. For one, content which was already lacking in New World will now be focused on these seasonal updates. For a company that doesn't meet deadlines and has a history of lacking content, this means the focus will be even further away from in-depth new content that players want and entirely on short-lived, mostly meaningless temporary content. Which, for Amazon Games, is fine because they just want to make as much money off of it as possible. You know, why spend a lot of time making content for a game when you can do cheap seasonal activities? Why hire an expensive lead for your seasons when they're nothing more than a cheap cash grab? Just hire the boss's son and let him run it until it's dead. Amazon's focus is elsewhere. A quick glance at some of the company's job postings show that it's hiring for its next title. Combat Lead, for example, states that they will refine the combat vision for New World and define the vision for our next game. Now, their next game is likely some ways off, although there have been hints about it over the last few years, but there's no denying that Amazon Games is looking ahead. And in the meantime, New World will continue with likely delayed seasonal content to try and get as much money from its players as possible.
Is there anything unique that will give players like a competitive advantage when they purchase the premium track?
No.
Now, it's worth noting that a lot of seasonal content is free, which is great, but the presence of a paid premium track is there. Amazon Games is even offering the ability for you to retroactively unlock premium content up to the level you are at that time. You know, what player sitting at level 100 won't be enticed to simply pay and unlock all of the premium content? Overall, when you combine the history that Amazon Games has with delays, a lack of creating engaging content, and the lack of effort and personnel put behind it, New World Season System simply signifies the upcoming end of the game. That's all for this video. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do seasons mean the end of New World, or is this the start of something great that's going to keep the game relevant for years to come? Also, please like and subscribe. This is my very first YouTube video, so any feedback is appreciated. Until next time.